Welcome. In this video I'm going to be taking a look at this Prostormer 198-piece household toolkit. So this was provided to me by the distributor, but they're not compensating me for this video and they're not reviewing it before I post it. If you find this video helpful and you want to purchase one of these, I'll put a link to it in the description on Amazon, and if you use that link it helps me out a little bit and doesn't cost you anything extra. So let's get this open. So I have the label facing up. You want to face it up while you open it. We'll open these latches. It has this blow molded case. I guess I can show you the back side real quick. So here's the bottom side. It looks similar to the top. So let's get this open. So I have this foam that separates the two halves. So I'll probably keep this foam in here to keep the tools from moving around. So this has a wide range of tools, and I probably have a version of every single tool in here in my tool chest. So it may seem like, why would I need this thing? The best tools are the tools you have with you, and my tool chest is huge. So if I have to go work on something somewhere, sometimes I might grab a few tools to take with me. But if what I'm working on is unexpected, having a toolkit like this can be invaluable. So this isn't made to replace a mechanic's tool set that a professional would use. This is a great tool set to have that you might keep in the car. You could keep it in an RV, in your truck. This would be a perfect gift to give someone who's moving into their own house or apartment. This is a good starter toolkit. So a toolkit like this I think is good for someone who has no tools or to complement someone's existing tool set. So if you have no tools, you have a selection here to choose from. Maybe you're doing something that requires a lot of hammering and you think, oh, this hammer is not really cutting it for me. You can buy a bigger hammer. But if you're only cutting wire on occasion, then you say, well, I'll just use these pliers that came with this kit. So certainly you can add to this and buy more tools if you find something's inadequate for what you're doing, but this has a lot of tools that can do a lot of tasks. So let me focus in on the bottom part here. So starting in the top left, we have these screwdriver bits. We have some straight bits, Phillips posit drive, Torx. This is a 1/4-inch drive adapter. This next set we have straight Phillips, Torx, square drive. Then we have more posit drive and more Torx bits. Over on the right here, we have a tape measure. So this is a 10-foot tape measure here, and it has imperial and metric on it. It has a little lanyard and a lock. And we have the hammer here. This is a small hammer. You're not going to frame a house with it. It'd be perfectly adequate for hanging pictures and such. Here's a Hex Extension. This is an adjustable wrench here. This would be good for many things, including things like plumbing projects, maybe working on a car, putting together some furniture. Here's an adjustable knife. So these are nice. You can snap these off as it gets dull so you can have a fresh blade. But I find these are really good for doing things like cutting foam. So if you have some like styrofoam, you can use the slicing motion on this and cut through it. Whereas a regular utility knife has too short of a blade. So that's very handy. Then here we have Lineman Pliers. So these have some cutters on them and some wider blades. These would be good for like twisting wires and doing electrical work. Here's needle nose pliers. These have cutters on them also. These would be good for doing wiring. You could do craft work with these. You can pull things with these. There are many uses for that. These are Hex Keys. These are in metric. So we have 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, and 10. These would be good for things like putting furniture together, bicycle repair. Many things use hex wrenches. We have some scissors, stainless steel scissors. These feel really nice. So you can cut all sorts of things with those. So under some of these tools here, we have some zip ties. So that can come in handy if you're on the road doing a repair. Many times you need zip ties to complete the repair, or it's a good temporary repair. And here we have hacksaw blades for the hacksaw that's up top. Here we have a ratchet. This is a 3/8-inch drive ratchet. So we have the socket release here, multiple direction. Down on the left here, we have metric sockets, and it looks like this is pretty much a metric set. So we have 4, 4.5, 5, 5.5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and this is a 3/8 to 1/4-inch adapter. So it looks like these are all 1/4-inch drive sockets here, and then on the other side we have 3/8-inch. Here we have longer screw bits. Here's a 3/8-inch extension. Here's a 5/8-inch spark plug socket, or 16mm. So I think this would work on a mower or a small engine, so that can come in real handy. And then we have these sockets here. This is 10mm. Anyone who's worked on modern cars knows 10 and 12mm are really used a lot in cars. So we have 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So 19 is a lug nut size. I don't know if you could get a lug nut loose with this, but certainly if you broke it loose with a lug nut wrench, if it's not super tight, you could use this to more quickly remove it. So many handy tools down here. Let's switch to the other side. Here we have screwdrivers. We have the stubby screwdrivers. Those come in handy a lot when you're working in tight spaces. Here's a ratcheting handle. So let me get a bit in here. So here's the hex to 1/4-inch adapter. Then we could put a socket on here, and then this will ratchet one way. We'll pull down this switch. It'll ratchet the other way, and then in the middle it will work like a regular screwdriver. So that can really come in handy. Then we have a Phillips screwdriver here, and this has a rubber overmolded handle here with some little nubs on it. Gives you lots of grip. and we have a screwdriver here. So these are regular Phillips screwdriver and standard screwdriver, but needless to say, you can use the ratcheting handle with all of these bits, and you have, a variety of sizes there. Then we have these adjustable pliers here. So these are, I guess you call them kind of a slip joint adjustable plier. So these would be great for plumbing work when you need to grip something. So when you're gripping on something with these, when you press down here, it tightens it a little bit tighter. So if you need a good grip, those are good. Those are used a ton for plumbing. Like if you're RVing or something and you need to tighten a water hose, you might use these, or loosen a water hose. So here we have a hacksaw. This appears to be made out of aluminum. So this could be good for cutting a bolt or something. You never know what kind of emergency you're going to come across where you need something like this. You could also cut, say, plumbing pipe with this, PVC pipe. This would probably easily cut through PVC. You might have a little bit of a rough edge cutting it with this, but in an emergency situation, this might be just the tool for the job. So inside of that, we have more blades. So this is lots of razor blades, actually. I'm not going to pull this open right now, but we have 10 of these razor blades, and those are all segmented too. So that gives you a lot of usage out of that utility knife. Then if we go to this side, we have regular wrenches. So these are polished wrenches. There's 8mm. We have 10, 12, 13, 14, 15. So 10's a common size. If you need to loosen the battery terminals on your car, there's a good chance it's 10mm. And sometimes you can use a socket, and you could potentially use an adjustable wrench, but those are not the best tool. The best tool is something like this, because you can easily get in here with either of these sides and loosen up that terminal. I like that. These are some nice looking wrenches here. Then we have these smaller screwdrivers here. These might be for maybe glasses repair, some electronics repair, more precision work. So we have 2 Phillips and 2 flathead. This is the smallest one here. This is something I'm excited to see in here, are some wire strippers. Looks like they lock closed. So you can see the sizes of wire these will strip. We have 10 to 22 gauge and 2.6 to 0.6mm. It says copper only, and you can cut wire with this also. So I was camping with the Cub Scouts. Our trailer wiring got yanked apart. This would have come in handy so we could restrip it, and then you could tie the wires together. And I guess I kind of missed over here, comes with electrical tape. That's not the best repair, but in an emergency, that's a perfectly adequate repair. So you can strip the wires back, twist them together, wrap them up with tape, and then when you get home, you can do a proper repair with like crimp connectors or some kind of waterproof fitting or something. I'm really glad they included those wire strippers. And here we have some different hardware. So we have different anchors. These look like 1/4-inch anchors. We have different screws in here. There's just a variety of things. Machine screws, some nuts, bolts, washers, nails. So there's a little bit of hardware. Now, if this is stuff you're never going to need, you could potentially put some other hardware in here that might be useful to you. So say you're putting this in your car, you can maybe take some of these screws out and put some fuses in here and have a little storage area. So that's a quick overview of all these tools. So I'm going to head out to my car or RV and maybe show some places you can use some of these tools. So here I'm out at my car, and we can see my battery terminals here. Now this terminal here, I could put a socket on, but you see this one here, there's not a lot of clearance here. So I could use a wrench here and loosen this up. So actually this should have a cover on it. Let's get that fixed. But this isn't a repair video, but you do always want to loosen up your negative terminal first, remove it, and then go to your positive. But using a wrench like this is a lot easier than using an adjustable wrench or a socket. So here I'm in my camper. Here we have a hinge screw, and I did pull this out just for example, but we have the screwdriver with the bit in here. And I can fix that right up. Earlier today, I noticed this valve was leaking a little bit, so I can take the adjustable wrench here. I'll clamp it down on there, and it's narrow enough to fit in here. And I can tighten this up a little bit. So hopefully that won't leak anymore. These are stabilizers on a camper. I have a 19mm socket here, so I can use these to bring these up. So I can do like that. Tighten it down. Now this isn't necessarily the best option here, but maybe you have a better option. Maybe you have a bigger wrench, or you have like a drill you use, but maybe it got misplaced somehow. In an emergency, this will do the trick. Here I have the power center in an RV, and I want to turn the power off to the fridge. It's kind of hard to pull this fuse out of here. I can use these pliers. It'll give me better grip on it, and I can pull that out. Like so. So that's the Prostormer 198-piece household toolkit. I really like the variety of tools that come in here. I think this is a great starter set for someone. Say you get a bicycle, you're doing repairs on it, you can use these hex wrenches. Then maybe you really get into bike repair. Then maybe you want to buy some fancier hex wrenches, but this is a good way to get you started. Also great for emergencies on the road. You can put this in an RV. You don't know what's going to happen in your RV. You might have plumbing issues, you might have electrical issues, you might have some paneling come apart. Well, here you have a hammer, you have pliers to work on plumbing fittings, and you have zip ties and tape also in case something comes loose. So the nice thing about this is when you're done with it, throw that foam back in there. We close this up, and it doesn't take up a lot of space. It's easy to carry around. So this will fit really well in the back of a car or an RV. You could in theory make your own kit like this with different components, but it's going to cost a lot more and it's going to be kind of a mess. And I'm referring to non-professionals here. Certainly a professional plumber, professional handyman might want more stuff, but if you're the kind of person that does a little bit of handyman work for your family members or friends, something like this would work great. So that's all I'm going to cover in this video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. If you like this video, please click like. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd appreciate if you could do that. And thanks for watching. Until next time, goodbye.